Hi, I'm Corey Wayne, and today I've got Chunky, who y'all know and love with his awesome t-shirt game. And we also have a special guest, Victoria, who is a current platinum partner in Tony Robbins' world. And so what's interesting is back when I was a platinum partner, it's like 2004, 2005, I think there was like 45, 50 platinum partners max. And now I think there's like around 300. And so she just got done with a finance seminar with a lot of very famous, wealthy, successful people there that she's going to kind of tell us about. And then so we got a bunch of topics. We're going to talk self-reliance oriented, all kinds of things that basically help us get from where we are to where we want to be in life. And that means all areas of life, not just relationships, but our business, our career, our purpose, our bodies. So we got a lot of good things to talk about. So, Victoria, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you experienced, how you got into Platinum Partnership, number one, what you've learned in the last few months, and then obviously tell us a little bit about the event over the weekend.
So, I'm from LA, born and raised. I just turned 25. I do mixed martial arts. I do a lot of outdoor activities like rock climbing, getting into skydiving right now. I do a lot of underwater sports.
What's that? Was it torpedo something?
It's called underwater torpedo. It's like football underwater, 13 feet deep, and it's like 5-on-5 gladiator type style sport.
And you guys basically beat the crap out of each other underwater, trying to throw a torpedo into a net?
We don't beat each other. We just fight for the torpedo without, physically hurting. If you run out of air, you just got to let go of the torpedo and give it up so you don't drown. But yeah, that's just some of the things that I do. I do a lot of photography and video, media work, and I've competed in mixed martial arts. I have two cage fights, one jiu-jitsu tournament. And yeah, that's like just some hobbies and some things about me. I'm a daughter of Vietnamese immigrants who fled the war in 1975, so I was lucky to be born in the States. So how I got into the Tony world is I've been listening to him since I was like 10, 11 years old. My brother had him blasting at 6 a.m. every morning when I was a kid, so I heard Tony's voice just like,
live with passion.
Exactly, just his loud, boomy voice. Anyway, so just following him for so many years, I recently attended his this event called UPW, Unleash the Power Within, and it was live in November here in Palm Beach, in Florida.
You were there, weren't you?
Yeah, I was too. It was awesome.
You guys were both at the same event.
You did do the firework too?
Yeah, I did do the firework.
Was awesome.
Yeah.
I was a little nervous. It was cool. I loved it. The venue there was amazing. Like, the production of it was insane. It kind of felt like a rave almost a little bit.
Yeah, they actually sold out of tickets and had to create, like, a separate room to, like, accommodate people who couldn't be in the same main stage. So it was, like, a separate room, but in the same building.
Yeah, he says it's like a rock concert, and it really is.
Yeah.
If you've ever
really
been to
was.
an event, Tony is absolutely best in class. If you want to go to a live self-help event, there's nobody can come close to what Tony does.
Yeah, unmatched. Like, songs are on cue every single time.
And it's amazing how it's like 12, 13 hours, but you still have the energy and you're still just going. Like, because most other things, if you're there for 12 or 13 hours, you just want to die and leave. If that's for any other things, you're just exhausted by it. But that, you find the way to muster energy, which is very nice.
because he's got the fucking AC on like 30 below zero. And you have to stay moving.
He gets you jumping up and down.
Yeah.
Like,
shake your body out.
12 hours a day. You sleep for like 4 hours, 5 hours, and it's like 60 hours of training over like 3 days.
So you joined back in November and decided to become a platinum partner?
Well, I joined in November, just that event, and then...
Oh, you did the Life Master?
So I signed up for, Life Master University, or whatever it was, which included Date with Destiny, which is one of his most popular... It's actually Tony's favorite event that he does. So I did Date with Destiny virtually. I booked an Airbnb and I did it. And then at the end of Date with Destiny, I got Platinum Partnership was just calling my name. I was like, I got to do this. It just makes sense because I've always been the one to set the standard for people to do better and achieve more, but no one was actually that person for me. And it was always like this friction to be a better person. But by being around other people who already have that standard, it was just easier to be myself, I guess. Yeah.
Be myself. Be yourself. That's probably some of the worst. Like, when it comes to self-help or dating, and especially dating and relationship world, you just be yourself. It'll all work out. But it's not easy to be yourself in a world that's constantly trying to make you into something else and shaming you when you don't comply. And if you're unsure of yourself in any way, then you tend to not want to piss off the people around you that are trying to impose their will on you.
Yeah, there's a saying, like, if you don't want to be criticized, just do nothing. So by me, I've always been criticized for all the things that I do. So just being in a place where it's supportive, regardless of what I do, it's just really empowering, and I don't have to hold back who I am. And that's part of what Unleash the Power Within, that UPW event, did for me, was sort of just being more of myself and letting myself come out, in a sense, like stepping into that. So that's just what it was for me.
Cool. So the first topic that we're going to cover is love is not conditional. So what did you mean by that, and what was the context to that quote?
So it was during the Date with Destiny event with Tony. We were doing a lot of exercises in which, we just go into these past pains or past, just we normally blame people for the things that happened to us, whether it's like the way somebody treated us or, because they did X, we are now XYZ. But we did this thing called effective blaming, where, like, if you're going to blame somebody for all the bad that happened to you, you might as well blame them for all the good that they, done in your life. So we did this thing called effective blaming. And one of the people I blamed the most growing up was my dad. He was never there growing up. So I was always by myself. I was, unconsciously looking for like a dad in other people, which led to like a lot of people taking advantage of me as a kid and things like that. So a lot of people, not just me, like blame my dad for a lot of things that happened to me as a kid. So I actually called him after that effective blaming exercise we did at Day with Destiny. And I said, "Hey, Dad, I know a lot of people blamed you for all the bad things that happened to me, but I want to tell you something. I want to blame you for something else." So I FaceTimed him, and he looked like he had just dread on his face.
Like, oh shit.
He's like, "Oh shit, here she comes. She's gonna lay it on me right now." And I said, "Dad, I want to blame you for all the good you've been in my life. Like, if you were the dad I wanted you to be, as opposed to dad I needed you to be, I wouldn't be the person I am today," which I'm really proud of. And I know that because of the situation, the way things played out, it wasn't because you didn't love me. It was just hard for me to see. And you only loved me in the way that
he was capable.
He was capable of. And so the conclusion I arrived at the end of that exercise was, there was never a condition of anybody's love. It was only an extension of it, which means that, people can only love you at the depth that they can truly give. And sometimes they can't even give that to themselves, let alone give that to someone else. So
yeah, you can't give away what you don't have for yourself.
Exactly. So there's never a condition, just an extension of who they are and what they are capable of. So that's what I meant by love is not conditional. It's only an extension of who the person is.
Did he or your mom ever tell you any stories about the events that leading up to causing them to leave Vietnam and come to the United States? Did they ever go into that? Like what their experiences were during the war?
Yeah, my mom's experience, when they fled Vietnam, they had no way knowing what was going to be on the other side of the journey. They were at sea for 7 days, like no food, no water.
So they were one of the boat people?
The boat people.
What they call them?
Yeah, the boat people. My half brother, who's like an infant at the time, almost died. Like, because there were other infants on the boat as well, and they died, but my brother made it. And then, so I have 4 brothers in total. The youngest and oldest one was with my mom, and the 2 middle brothers were with their dad, but they got caught. So they got sent back to Vietnam. So my 2 brothers and my mom made it to Indonesia finally, 7 days later. Yeah, there were refugees there for like a year or 2 years, and it was crazy there. They would fight over like a grain of rice. Like that's how scarce food was. But my mom begged on her knees and pleaded people to help her get to the States and all that stuff. And my dad, he has like a bullet scar that's like right here on the side of his head, like just great, like a bullet scar that just grazed his skull. So he's lucky he made it.
What was the story behind that? Was that when he got captured?
No,
that was when he was back in Vietnam.
He was a South Vietnamese soldier during the war, and I think he was like in close combat with someone. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, the bullet just grazed him right there. And he was, so when he was getting when they're getting selected for like special forces in the Vietnam Army, they're selecting people, and my dad, they're selecting guys from this line, right? And then my dad wanted to be in the special forces side. And so he didn't get chosen, but he just jumped into the other line and said, I'm special forces. And I guess the commander, whoever it was like, oh, you're special forces. All right. Like, well, they tested my dad and everything and, messed with him and stuff, but he got through it and he has so many cool stories, survived that. So yeah,
he saw a lot of combat over there?
Yeah. He saw a lot of combat, a lot of death, and him coming to the States, it was a really hard transition for him because didn't speak English, had to learn everything again. He was, I think, in New Jersey, or like he was sponsored there by a family. And a lot of people were bullying him and all that stuff. So it was a tough transition for him to come to the States. And he was also, I think he checked into like a mental institution, and he had to like convince them that he was fine actually. But yeah, he got through a lot of obstacles and, somehow got to California, became a mechanic, and that's how he made his living, being in California. And my mom is a seamstress. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Were there big takeaways? Are there big lessons from where they came from to where they are now? So,
big takeaway here is that I think the United States is the greatest freaking country anybody can be in. Because in Vietnam, when the war was happening, they were shutting down businesses. Communist country didn't let you do your own thing. You don't have the freedom to do your own thing at all. And so to be here and for my parents to go through that struggle of making the journey here, like being at sea with the pirates, that take the women, take the jewelry, just fighting for your life, honestly, and just trying to make it to the next step. Me being the person that I am today and being just lucky to be born in the States, I have so much opportunity, and it'd be a shame for me to like not fulfill my potential as a human being. And I should always just be striving to be the best, because if I just settled and did whatever, like all that sacrifice would have been for nothing. So that's what my takeaway is.
So they left when? 75 is when they left?
75, yeah.
And when did he go into the Special Forces? What year was that?
I don't know the specific date, but it was sometime before 1975.
Yeah, because my dad was there he was in Chu Lai, which I know the Americans had different names for the areas of Vietnam, but he was on a base most of the time, worked in personnel. And then my Uncle Richie, he was there in 67, 68 when things were really bad and really heating up. And so he saw a lot of combat. He doesn't like to talk about it because he saw a lot of death, a lot of carnage, and it was a real unpleasant thing, kind of like the hammer drill that's going on right now.
Yeah, it is. Even my dad, he just doesn't like to talk about it. Like, the ones who really go through a lot of that stuff, they don't really like to talk about those stories. But it's pretty interesting how they made it. Like, just going through war and adversity. Yeah.
Cool. So anything else you want to add about love not being conditional?
No, I think the depth of just overall love is just like, it's a feeling, right? And
love is allowing. Love is about giving.
Yeah. I think too many people just come into love wanting or like just wanting to get something out of it, but they never think about, oh, what can I give to this person? So I think when you just come from a place of just want to give the love without expecting anything back, that's where that's where the goodness is. Like, that's where the good stuff is. I think. Yeah.
Cool.